our mission before that, I would love to start with this very interesting question, that is, what is the single most important growth driver for every company in our world? And I think the answer today is very clear to all of us. It's one word, and it's digital present. All the companies want to win in the digital war. The world is changing. Digital transformation was here before, but now if you're not fully on that, you probably will not survive these crazy days of COVID out there. And we're seeing the digital transformation not only accelerated, but exponential acceleration. And to win in the digital war, we know something today that is very clear. We need intelligence, digital intelligence. And it's not only to win in the digital world. Basically, you need intelligence to win in every war. And intelligence means that you need to understand your market, what's going on. You need to monitor competitors. You need to benchmark performance, understand where you stand. You need to identify new markets, and you need to see opportunities and market change before anyone else. And this is what we do for a living. We provide digital intelligence, but digital intelligence is a complex thing to provide, and we've been lucky to do so for the past 10 years. And why it's complex? Because the digital world is an ecosystem that lives between multiple platforms. The users are moving between desktop, mobile web, apps, and every companies today have hard times to track the customer journey between those platforms. So think how hard it is when you want to give intelligence on that. The digital world, as traffic moves there, it's moved by different channels that are disconnected from each other. You have the social networks, you have video, you have search, you have display advertising. And the last part is the data quality. If you're getting all data that is not accurate, this can be destructive to companies. You're gonna make a lot of important decisions. And this is why you need the most high quality, accurate, fresh data available to make decisions. And this is what we do. This is our mission in SimilarWeb. We provide digital intelligence to help companies to win in the digital world. We give you the insights and the data you need to do the right moves. And we're doing it by providing a very delightful SaaS platform. I hope a lot of you have options to see our advanced market intelligence platform that give you 360-degree of what's going on. You can see, you can put any website, any app, see how much traffic they have, where they're getting the traffic, and take this data and turn it into insights. And we have a very broad coverage. We like to say that we give you the holistic view of the digital activity of any company online. So we cover today 100 million websites, almost 5 million apps, all industries, all countries, and we give you also the granular data for you to understand what's going on at the different channels. From the search terms, display advertising, banners, e-commerce and SKUs, what those companies are selling online, and what are their content and the different strategies they're doing in each one of them. And we are growing. We are growing extremely fast. We're seeing a very sharp demand to SimilarWeb insights in those days when everybody wants to shift into the digital. So we just closed another fundraising of $120 million that we are very excited. Overall, more than $240 million we raised in order to bring the best digital intelligence out there. Our headcount is growing from 600 to 800 employees in the next few months. So it's a really exciting time here. We have around 1 million people with our traffic meter extension that help us do ranking, 18 million SimilarWeb free users that using our platform every year. So we're seeing a very sharp growth and really exciting. And we, of course, we serve really top brands. And I want, again, to thank you all to come and see how we're going to improve SimilarWeb in the next few months to provide you, our audience, and our customer with much better platform and data. Thank you.
Thank you, Or. And we have our first poll of the webinar, which is ask, which type of intelligence are you going to prioritize in 2021? And the answer is the first one, the crowd, about 55% analyzing markets and competitors. A close second is the attracting and engaging customers. Really nice. Thanks, everyone. Moving on. We're now at the next generation, the big reveal. So as Or mentioned, SimilarWeb provides the most comprehensive and reliable measurement of the digital world. Customers have taught us that the underlying data has an extraordinary range of applications. Your use cases are much more diverse than we ever imagined or even intended. So last year, our focus was on creating dedicated capabilities for specific customer needs, which was pretty fun and exciting for us to explore. It was the beginning of a journey that we're still on to zoom in on each customer segment and one by one solve specific digital intelligence needs from start to finish. So let's look at a couple of quick examples how we approached that last year. We started with workspaces, which gives access to a mission control center for your market. It answers what I think is one of the most fundamental questions. Is your company's growth in line with the market? You can also become an instant expert on where you're winning and losing, plus spot new growth opportunities by scanning all the right metrics. And speaking of growth opportunities, we also launched the keyword generator tool for SEO and content teams to make it easy to quickly surface tons of new keyword ideas. You might be a little late to the game if you're starting right now, but let's say you were looking for keyword ideas having to do with Black Friday. You could find long tail, phrase matched, related keywords, trending keywords, and question queries. And a pro tip is that you could sort by CPC to find affordable keywords for your PPC campaigns. And when it comes to campaigns, we also wanted to help you effectively drive traffic down the marketing funnel with conversion analysis. So this is just one part of the full module, but in this example, we see that Walmart has been closing the conversion rate gap with Amazon in recent months, which is pretty interesting. And if we wanted, we could go elsewhere in the module to further dig into what marketing channels drove the most conversions for Walmart, what were the top converting categories for Walmart, and even leverage on-site search to monitor product demand there. So after releasing those initial tastes of kind of customer-specific needs, capabilities that solve customer-specific needs, we got a lot of positive feedback and think that we could take the use case-centric approach even further, which brings us to today, the big reveal of our next generation of the digital intelligence platform. So we mapped our customers' most common use cases and built a product around those. You can see on the left that we're very focused on two kind of groups of customer types: digital marketers and digital researchers. And we couldn't be more excited to share it with you and continue building on the digital intelligence platform of your dreams. So right now, I'm going to present just 5 of the new modules. Obviously, there's a lot more in the full platform. And at the end of just looking at these 5, I'm going to ask you to vote on which you're the most excited about. So let's go. Industry research. This module allows you to understand your market share and strategize how best to grow it. This particular feature, market quadrant analysis, is just one of many that you can find there. But in this example, we can see the industry leaders in the TV, movies, and streaming industry. YouTube is the market leader in terms of engagement, so we define that here by bounce rate and pages per visit. It's followed by Hulu, and both of them are outpacing Netflix. You can, of course, change the metrics for how you want to define market leadership. And we're also benchmarking these to market leaders, the market leaders to the industry average, to sense just how far ahead they are. Another one of our, this is, by the way, one of my personal favorites, is segment analysis, which is an extremely unique module. It lets you completely customize which slices of the internet you want to measure for an apples to apples analysis, which is the core to any real benchmarking analysis. It's really useful, especially for companies that have different lines of business. So in this example, we're analyzing hotels in the travel industry. Though you could also use it, it's commonly used by retail customers to isolate specific product lines, and media customers to analyze specific topics across different sites. In this example, we're looking at the entire Airbnb website and comparing it to the hotel segments of other travel booking sites. And you can see the dip in the market in March and how the site started recovering in May, right? Around dips around COVID. And interestingly, On the Beach had a boost in the summer. And soon we'll be rolling out marketing channels for segment analysis, so you could investigate which channels drove that traffic boost. Next, we have keyword research. It's critical to the success of any SEO or content strategy. We kind of built on the initial keyword generator tool to streamline the entire keyword research workflow into a single module. which contains lots of amazing tools. You can see some of them on the left-hand side in the sidebar, but for example, organic and paid competitors, geography, and top ads, all of them built to grow your search traffic share. So here we're showing the keyword overview page, which provides a full snapshot of any keyword so you can quickly understand its traffic potential and competitiveness. You can still check out the keyword generator tool, which I still think gives you an unfair advantage to discover the most lucrative keywords. Affiliate research. This module offers transparency when it comes to the blind spot of finding and monitoring partners. Again, we're just highlighting a couple features from the module, but on the left we have the incoming traffic page, which allows you to easily understand the incoming referral traffic share across your competitors. In this example, we are Nike, and we're looking at the combined referral traffic that comes to Adidas, New Balance, and Under Armour, and the competitiveness of how much traffic they win from each referral partner. On the right, we have the outgoing traffic page, which gives you a clear view of the leading industries that a website sends traffic to, the topics that drive that traffic, and the top websites that receive traffic from that website, in this case, BuzzFeed. The last module that we're going to highlight in today's short reveal is the media buying and ad creative research part of the platform. So these modules provide media buyers and performance marketers visibility into which competitors launch the best ads, which publishers drive the best traffic to your competitors, and which ad networks are the best to work with in your industry. In the specific features that we've shown here, you have on the left a feature, Find Publishers, that lets you quickly view the top websites sending traffic to your competitors, with the ability to filter results by industry or ad network, as well as analyze each website's competitive traffic share. On the right, we have a sample of the ad creative research module, which lets you see the text ads, product ads, display or video creatives of any website to figure out which ad formats are being used the most and the most successfully. So we're going to pause for a second and do another poll. Which of these 5 modules are you going to try first when you get your hands on the new platform? Okay, interesting. We have industry and market share analysis as the top third, 35%, followed by my personal favorite, segment analysis, which is almost tied for keyword research. Not a lot of love for affiliate research in the audience, although it is one of our most beloved use cases in the customer base. And media buying and ad creative, interesting, in a close fourth, let's say. So pretty spread, which does reflect the fragmentation and diversity of use cases among our customers. So that's pretty realistic. So let's just take a step back for 1 second to reflect on why we think all of this, the new platform, is going to be so valuable for you. So first, better discoverability of features. It's going to let you surface powerful tools more easily. And ultimately, that makes you more productive and effective in your role. So you're going to just get greater value extraction out of the subscription than you could before. Secondly, faster time to insight. We're all in back-to-back Zoom meetings. I'm sure you can relate to that all the time. So we just have less time probably to do as deep of a research as we might have before. And we want to be able to answer business questions in a few clicks. So that's going to let you act faster, right? And that's also super critical in the times we live in, because market opportunities are kind of happening more quickly, and the emerging threats it's a bit more volatile in the markets that we live in, right? So the ability to act fast is something we really want to support you in. And lastly, easy to use. We want it to be fun for you to jump in and instantly understand your market, get the lay of the landscape for a project you're working on. Nobody wants more complexity, again, to their lives. So we really believe in providing you a delightful, easy product experience. And the benefit of that is that it's going to be easier to onboard employees across the organization and have SimilarWeb adopted across the teams. So if you want to reference, again, the same metrics, reports, we think it's going to be easier for people to figure out where they need to go and what they need to do. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jason, who's going to teach us about how LendingTree uses SimilarWeb.
Great. Thanks, Tally. So let me just say that I am thrilled to be here today. SimilarWeb has been a fantastic partner over the past 4 years, and I'm happy to share my experience and also talk about how SimilarWeb adoption has grown at LendingTree. Let me see if I have control here. Okay. All right, so first let me start with who I am. I'm the Vice President of Product at LendingTree, responsible for our logged in experience, our financial wellness product called My LendingTree, and our finance as a service platform called Powered by LendingTree. That means I'm looking at the market from both a B2C standpoint as it relates to our financial wellness product, as well as a B2B standpoint as it relates to our finance as a service platform. And I'm guessing I'm not alone here, but I have a broad set of KPIs that are important to me across the entire value chain. So that's from acquisition, how many users are we signing up, to engagement and satisfaction, things like retention and NPS, to monetization, both short-term metrics like revenue per active user, along with longer-term metrics like 12-month LTV. And interestingly, I've used SimilarWeb to help drive positive growth in all of these KPIs. So we'll talk about some of those use cases today and how I'm certainly happy with the product and also certainly happy to follow up with questions afterwards. You also see here I've outlined some of the challenges most relevant to my usage of SimilarWeb, along with specific use cases, but that's going to come out as I talk through the coming slides. So let's just move forward. All right, so understanding a little bit about LendingTree will help frame the rest of my discussion, but I'll make it quick so that we can get to the good SimilarWeb content. LendingTree is a marketplace for financial products like mortgages, personal loans, insurance, etc. And this chart does really a great job of explaining what we do. So on the left-hand side, you'll see demand generation. These are the consumers looking for financial services. And on the right-hand side is your supply. These are the lenders, the banks, the issuers, other financial institutions participating in our marketplaces. By the way, SimilarWeb has been very valuable on both sides of this marketplace, which is great. And then that sort of vertical stack in the middle demonstrates some of the unique capabilities that we've built to drive engagement and retention. And this is where I spend most of my time. So so just looking at some of the numbers to put things in context, LendingTree and our portfolio of sites sees around 270 million visits annually. The financial wellness product I lead has over 15.8 million users signed up. And our focus is on improving our users' financial lives. So we have some stats there as well. I've been using SimilarWeb for over 4 years. We have 25 active users on the platform across 7 functional areas, which is really broad usage. It's a testament to the value of the platform, I think. And currently, there's actually a groundswell of interest to get seats on the platform. So I'm sure my account manager would be happy to hear that. All right, so that sets up the context, but let's go back 4 years to see how we got here. I would venture to bet that my original use case was a little untraditional. I wanted to understand the usage of competitors' features to help answer these 3 questions. How do I prioritize the highest impact features? Are we missing any critical features? And where should we take the product? So SimilarWeb was actually the only product that let me drill down into specific areas of a site to measure engagement of those areas, which is exceptionally powerful. Most of you, even if you're not a product manager, probably know that product managers and really general managers often rely on user feedback, focus groups, surveys, user research agencies, behavioral data, et cetera. All of these are good and important activities that have to happen. But SimilarWeb has a wealth of product insights, and they have those insights at scale and significance. There are really deep user insights and behaviors in this data, and SimilarWeb is the only platform that I know of with the reporting tools to surface that data. So let's get into some of the specific ways that I've used SimilarWeb. And this first one is actually the first use case. So foresight is 2020. Around 4 years ago, when we were exploring building a spend analysis feature on the My LendingTree platform, we had several big initiatives lined up, and we were having a hard time ranking their priority. They were all bets. They were all based off of good consumer research. We had really good user feedback around them. We had strong business cases, but it's always difficult to predict how a feature will be received by users. And like I said, this is actually the reason I began looking for tools to analyze similar features on other sites, and was also the reason that I initially became a SimilarWeb customer. So using SimilarWeb, we looked at several of our competitors that had a spend analysis feature or something similar. And we analyzed how many of the users logging in were engaging with that feature. And so this screenshot is really just illustrative, but it's how we managed to effectively deprioritize spend analysis, at least in the format that we were exploring. So you can see a low percentage of engagement by looking at the differences between the top line, which is how many users are logging into the platform, and the bottom line, which is how many users are interacting with the spend analysis section of the website. So we ended up moving forward with a different build out, our home valuation and home equity checkup feature. And that feature ended up netting us millions of dollars. It drives strong engagement. To this day, it still performs very strongly. I do think it's important to note here that this isn't just a matter of necessarily prioritizing work. I think most of us probably know the backlog can often be a graveyard. It's something, if something gets delayed, there's certainly a greater than zero chance it will never happen. So markets change, priorities change, resources change. This type of data supporting prioritization has been very valuable for me in making better decisions. And by the way, this is the segmentation tool that Tally was talking about. I also think this is one of the best tools on the platform. All right, digital treasure maps. By the way, I hope you all appreciate these catchy titles that I've come up with. But, all right, so this is really straightforward, but really powerful. So as I mentioned earlier, SimilarWeb allows you to analyze specific areas of a website. In the previous slide, we were looking at the segment analysis. But in this slide, we're looking at a simpler folder view of engagement on a website. So I use this to quickly identify if there are any engaging, sort of highly engaging features, I should say, that competitors or frankly any relevant site that they have. And this is a real scenario. So looking at Credit Karma's top 10 most engaging folders or sections on their site, identity monitoring is number 10. So that tells me that the feature is driving pretty significant engagement for a competitor. And I didn't have that in my product. So we built it. Earlier this year, we launched identity monitoring, our identity monitoring MVP in Q1, and we're seeing great engagement. This data that we're seeing here, this was really the most important input in that decision to build this feature. It was on our roadmap, but we had a hard time understanding if it's something that we should build. Now we have it, and we also have additional work lined up to improve and enhance our identity monitoring capability. And I think it's going to continue to be an integral part of our product. So again, really valuable insights here. This next one is a little different. I call it the path of least resistance. And this is really sort of a common goal when optimizing funnels, acquisition funnels, upsell funnels, sales funnels, et cetera. And if you think about optimizing sort of the path of least resistance, and if you think about like a college quad, if you've ever seen how they'll have a sidewalk that goes diagonally across that quad, well, that's effectively optimizing the path of least resistance. If they remove that sidewalk, you would have a trail of mud, because that's how people get from one side to the other side of the quad. So this is similar, but slightly different than that. I wanted to understand how users prefer to engage with the competitive setup that makes up my sort of micro industry that I've created here. So that way I can optimize my awareness and outreach efforts to meet the customers where they are. SimilarWeb makes this pretty easy. I defined a custom industry with competitors I chose, and I benchmarked LendingTree's channel mix to that industry. So as you can see here, what's super clear is that users preferred high trust channels to engage with similar financial products. And the scale is actually quite significant. So just to walk through these charts, on the top, we have the average monthly percent of share of visits across these channels. The gray bars represent the custom industry that I created, and the colored bars are LendingTree. So you can see we over-index in paid channels and under-index in organic and direct. Now on the bottom, we are looking at average number of visits, not the percent share, which shows you basically the scale. And it's clear to see that LendingTree is a leader in paid search and display, but it's also clear that users are overwhelmingly choosing to engage via these high trust channels. So therefore, to meet the customers where they are, we developed a go-to-market strategy that includes both brand spend and content production. So this was really helpful in sort of guiding that strategy. Okay, so now you know some of the ways that I've been getting value from SimilarWeb. There has also been really a strong adoption across different departments and groups at LendingTree. And I think it's valuable to see the breadth of the product. So I'm going to touch quickly on some of the coolest use cases that I've seen. So the first one is Corp Dev. And I'll be brief because the next slide actually goes into more detail here, but our Corp Dev team uses SimilarWeb to help identify opportunities and perform some initial due diligence. So they do this when they're looking at strategic investments or M&A targets, and it's been sort of really helpful, a unique set of data that can align them better with some of the goals that they have. Our biz dev team has actually really become super users of SimilarWeb. The team is prospecting for partnership opportunities by identifying who is sending traffic to relevant competitors or financial institutions. And then the company that is sending that traffic may become a target for a strategic partnership. They'll also focus on different industries and use SimilarWeb to create hit lists of the top players in an industry. And they also validate size and prioritize their pipeline in part with SimilarWeb data. So this has helped rapidly fill and qualify the BD pipeline. And it also ensures, by the way, that we aren't wasting our time on smaller opportunities, which is great. The sales team recently got into SimilarWeb. They're actually also becoming power users, which is awesome to see. So at LendingTree, we're very focused on both market share and wallet share. And so for market share, our sales team will find lenders and financial institutions that our competitors may be sending traffic to, but we don't yet have on our network. So that's pretty straightforward, but really valuable. And honestly, it's not easy to get that level of insight without a tool like SimilarWeb. They're also constantly looking to grow wallet share of individual financial institutions that we already have on our network. So in other words, if a financial institution is buying leads, we want them to buy most of the leads from us. So with SimilarWeb, our sales team can look at the share of incoming traffic for lenders on our network and find opportunities where we think our share could increase, could be more. All right, and finally, marketing. So there are obviously a lot of use cases within the marketing org, and I'm just going to touch on a few. And in a couple of slides, we'll actually dive in a bit more. But the marketing team is doing both broad research to identify things like how we stack up against our competition, where we see opportunities to grow share of voice, and what marketing channels seem to be performing best in the industry. But they're also getting very tactical by analyzing keywords, referrals, granular channel data, and they're using that to refine SEO, SEM, display, content marketing, all of the channels that we're engaged in. So great use case there. All right, so this Corp Dev use case is actually pretty cool. A key insight we had was our underperformance in organic search. So if you look at the top chart here, the gray bar in the background is a benchmark against our competitive set. The blue bar that you see in there is LendingTree. So this is actually similar to a chart we saw earlier that I showed. And if we just ignored the picture from there, you'll see we're underperforming as it relates to the industry. But now if you look at the colored bars next to the blue bar, those happen to represent companies we ended up acquiring to quickly level up in the organic search and SEO space. So we not only used SimilarWeb to identify targets to level us up, but we also used SimilarWeb prior to identifying those targets to even understand that a go big SEO strategy was something that we should be focused on from an M&A standpoint. The bottom chart that you can see here is an example of one of the acquisitions, Value Penguin, and how we can look at SimilarWeb to identify positive trends that adds to our understanding of the company's performance and the potential outlook. So a very cool use case. All right, and one more sort of use case deep dive. And if you have more questions at the end, by the way, that's fine. My hourly rate is pretty nominal, so I'm happy to have a quick discussion. So this example shows how SimilarWeb is great for diving into research or really a specific tactical activity, but also great for monitoring conditions in the market so you can quickly take action. So in this case, the top chart is showing referral volume for a custom industry that I've created. So this is volume that's coming to the industry. And this helps identify targets for increasing share. So for instance, we could pay more potentially to increase share. We could strategically partner to increase share. It also, by the way, helps us monitor changes that may signal us to get on the phone with our account manager and ask what's going on as we see maybe a competitor pick up share, us lose share. So really important for monitoring there. The second chart is showing share of voice for a specific set of keywords. So in this case, it's loan-related keywords. LendingTree is the green band that you can see. And over the course of the pandemic, we actually increased our share, which is great. But Bankrate, the dark blue band, also fared well. So the marketing team can dive into Bankrate's keyword strategy to identify what is working for them, or if there's an opportunity to sort of oust their position, which is great. All right, so that was a lot. As you can see, we're using SimilarWeb at LendingTree for an enormous variety of use cases. And for each of these, I've actually been intimately involved, working with Sita, my SimilarWeb consultant, of course, but it has taken a lot of my time to answer questions, help train users, explore their use cases. And so it takes a lot of time. It's not easy to see the expansion, but honestly, sort of as you get into the SimilarWeb product, you can find so many ways that the org can benefit from the platform that you sort of become an evangelist. You haven't realized that yet. But the time and effort it takes to sort of introduce the platform to someone is partly due to how powerful it is. It's partly due to how much you can do with it and how broad it is, but it does require a lot of know-how and exploration. The next generation interface changes that. And as you can see from this infomercial-like image here, dreary and drab Jason on the left was spending way too much time and effort to amplify the value of SimilarWeb across LendingTree. On the other hand, on the right, we have sunny days. The next generation interface really simplifies how users interact with SimilarWeb by crafting the user experience around the use case. And that means I have plenty of time to fish, to ride my bike, maybe go on walks, or possibly just fill my time with other meetings. But from a product perspective, the team has actually done a really good job. They spent a lot of time. I very much appreciate this being in the world of product, crafting the next generation experience to be easier to adopt and get users to value more quickly. So I've actually, and I'll talk about this on the next few slides, but I've actually learned new things, even though I've been working with the platform for over 4 years. So these are things that I either didn't know existed or didn't really pay much attention to. So it's really fascinating when I started to get into the platform, the value that I even was able to get to it. So this first one we saw a little bit earlier. It's very cool. This is the market quadrant analysis. It's now surfaced under a new navigation item called industry leaders. What's really cool about this is that you can change the axes of the quadrants. So for instance, if you want to create a quadrant measured by bounce rate and unique visitors, you could do that and quickly see how the competition stacks up. A competitor may be driving a lot of unique visitors, for instance, but those visitors may be bouncing at a high rate. So this is really powerful competitive research, and you can get to these insights extremely quickly. This next one is a perfect example of how the next generation interface makes it simple to use the product. The data this Find Publishers tool is surfacing was actually available in the older interface, but not necessarily in a consolidated tool. So this interface makes it much more intuitive to use. You can quickly identify the top quality publishers by industry, custom industry that you create yourself or a specific competitor. And more importantly, your display team has their use case sort of self-defined so they can dive in and quickly find value on their own, which is great for me. And then the next one, and this is the last one, this one is sort of similar to the publisher tool, but specific to affiliate or referral traffic. And the reason this was an aha moment for me was because the previous information architecture, it's a fancy word for navigation, didn't really highlight the difference between these two. And there are actually different tools available for analyzing each, and they're very powerful. So when I got into the next generation interface, it helped me explore these by elevating them and surfacing the unique values and the unique value and the unique analysis that each tool provided. So it's just a great example of how the organization of this new experience is really enabling better use of the many capabilities available in SimilarWeb. And with that, I'll close by just saying this has been a blast for me. Hopefully my experience will help you all understand how SimilarWeb is building a significant and really uniquely valuable product. I'd be happy to answer any questions at the end. Tally, I'll pass it back over to you.
Thank you, Jason. I just want you to know that I appreciate your catchy titles. And I hope you all can see how lucky we are to have a real product manager on our customer advisory board, because not only does he give us product feedback, he helps us understand how to prioritize that feedback. So it's a 2-for-1. So thanks so much, Jason. Okay, just want to remind you, as Jason said, to keep asking questions throughout. We're going to be answering them at the end, which we're coming up on shortly. So here we are now at the sneak peek, the exclusive behind the scenes look into our upcoming roadmap. Just one slide before we get into that. I want you to understand our product principles because these guide what features we choose to develop. So the first principle is actionable. We respect your time. We believe in proactively surfacing insights that drive action. Actionability is ultimately what's going to make you succeed. So that's number one. And the second principle is trustworthy. People use SimilarWeb to understand reality, as you heard from Jason's examples, right? So we know you need to feel confident to make decisions based on our data. The third principle is integrated. We know you have your own particular way of working, so we strive to have SimilarWeb integrate into your work, into your particular use case in a seamless way. The fourth principle is easy. No one likes to use something that's hard, ourselves included. So we believe that the products should be delightful and simple and not add more complexity to someone's life. The fifth and final principle is flexible. I like to think that business questions are like snowflakes, meaning that they're not all the same, and each in his own particular market with his own particular competitive set needs the ability to analyze anything any way that they want. So we want SimilarWeb to be a place where you can constantly explore further into the depths of the digital world. One of our almost to last polls, out of the 5 principles, we're curious to hear from you where you think we should double down in 2021. Okay, interesting split again. Actionable, which makes sense, is the number 1, followed by trustworthy. Oh, very close tie though with easy. Okay, most people seem to not be as passionate about flexible, which is again one of my, kind of goes along with the segment analysis theme. So, but thanks for that. That's interesting. We'll take that into account. Okay, I'm gonna hand it over to Kyle, who's gonna walk us quickly through some of the exciting features on the roadmap.
Thanks, Tali. I'm super excited to be presenting these features from our roadmap today. Let's start with Arena Marketing Highlights, which really proactively monitors significant fluctuations in competitors' traffic per channel. Not only will this be available within competitive arenas, but Arena Marketing Highlights can also be delivered as a weekly email of tailored highlights. And from that email, you'll be able to easily click into the platform to analyze any highlight at a greater level of detail. And speaking of greater level of detail, this quarter we'll also be launching top organic landing pages. So this represents us moving beyond just domain level detail and insights and into page level. So with this feature, you'll be able to see the top organic search landing pages for any website, alongside the page's traffic share, trend, number of keywords driving traffic, and top keyword. It's like having X-ray vision on which pages are driving the most organic traffic to your competitors, so you can reverse engineer what's working best for them to grow your own traffic. And when it comes to growing your own traffic, another important thing to understand is retention. As such, we're excited to be launching the new versus returning users metric, which 1, allows you to benchmark your website visitor retention versus your competition, and 2, allows you to analyze the behavior of their new versus returning users to leverage those insights to grow your traffic. And speaking of growing your traffic, affiliate marketing continues to flourish as a way to do just that. And relevancy is undoubtedly a critical piece of affiliate partnership success. And you can already use SimilarWeb to find top affiliates in your industry. And now we're taking that a step further with Find Affiliates by Keywords, meaning you'll be able to find new affiliates with an existing share of voice for specific keywords or topics. So you can be sure that an affiliate is bringing the optimal audience to your website. Another important trend in the digital marketing space right now is SERP features. SERP features being anything Google shows on a search results page that isn't a traditional organic result. And as SERP features take up more space, they tend to be more visual, they draw the user's eye, they also represent more potential to increase traffic if you can capitalize upon them. So it's crucial to consider them in your SEO strategy. which is why we're adding SERP features analysis to SimilarWeb. You can find the SERP features that any website is featured for, discover the SERP features present on the SERPs of your monitored keywords, or even filter keyword research flows by SERP features. So also on the SEO front, we're releasing keyword gap analysis, which is an easy way to both visualize and identify keyword opportunities based on traffic. You can assess both the keyword overlaps and gaps to identify these opportunities so you can target different keywords and grow your traffic share. Now, moving on to display, we're also adding display ads overview as a quick way to get an understanding of your competitor's overall display strategy and associated performance. You could see display visits, number of ads, campaigns, etc. And you can also see the engagement of that display, those display visits, to understand if they're targeting the right audience. Now, speaking of audience, let's talk for a bit about our upcoming market size estimation feature. And this lets you measure the size of your competitive landscape and addressable market. You can zoom into your target competitors and measure the unique audiences that you can potentially reach and convert. You might be surprised what you actually uncover here. Lastly, Tali mentioned segment analysis earlier, but segment analysis is an extension of our website analysis module where users can first analyze a website and then use segment analysis to drill down into any page level or subsection of the website for granular insights. And with this next generation of segment analysis, we're bringing our customers the following capabilities at scale. 1, analyzing any domain, including subdomains. 2, worldwide features. And 3, the ability to slice and dice any website with full flexibility. I'm super excited about it. These are just a few of the incredible features that we have in store for you, and we can't wait to get them in your hands. Back to you, Tali.
Thanks, Kyle. Very exciting stuff. We all love a good roadmap. And I'm just going to wrap up before we get to the Q&A with showing you a few of our customers, along with Jason, were given early access to kind of test it out and give us feedback. And I just wanted to share with you what they're finding to be beneficial about it compared to what they were used to having. So Eric, being another longtime customer of ours from an agency, found it very intuitive. And again, as we mentioned, the goal was to have things be surfaced in just a couple clicks and kind of enjoy the fun of the new workflows that make it easy. Stephanie is in the affiliate research use case from MGM and mentioned that it gave her a more comprehensive understanding of her landscape. And lastly, Nicoletta, head of digital intelligence and analytics from Cheel, said that the new platform in particular, she also discovered new capabilities, like Jason said, even though she's been using it for a while, and they revolutionized the way she's analyzing markets. So we're really, really happy that people are getting value out of it. And we hope that you'll all be able to experience it soon as well. Our fourth and final poll, are you ready to take a spin of the new platform? Okay, cool. Happy to see that the vast majority plan to jump in themselves. And we'll show you right now how you can get in touch with an expert while we start to move to the Q&A. I also just want to introduce one more SimilarWeb member on the team who's with us, Simon. He is our VP of product and will be helping to answer some of the questions. So let's go one by one, see what we have. The first question is, how can I get access to the new platform? So here, obviously, you can visit the website and register. If you're not a current customer, you can sign up to reach one of our experts. And if you are a customer, just reach out to your account manager. It's that easy. There's a set of questions around how I can get updates on when the roadmap features will be coming out, when will the new features be available. So I'll talk about the communication aspect, and I'll hand it over to Simon to talk a little bit about the timing of them. But we communicate to customers and prospects in, of course, email newsletters. So if you haven't subscribed or signed up to a newsletter, do make sure to do that. And we also, for people that are in the platform, always kind of pop up messages when things come out there. So just pay attention to the newsletters that we send in app. And of course, account managers are always a good resource for you to check out when things are coming. This roadmap in general that we showed you is considered our near-term roadmap within the next quarter, I believe, or so. Simon, any details you want to add about that?
Sure. Yeah, in general, we plan our roadmap broadly on a yearly resolution, but the quarterly is the short term and more confident. And as you said, the last things that we just shared with you is planned for this quarter or the next one, and no, not further.
Yeah. There's a great question about, will I get to keep all my dashboards when moving over to the new platform?
Sure. So in general, if it will be the customer that will have the same capabilities and will be moving to a package that is compliant to the previous one, it will be able to have all the dashboards intact.
Yeah. Okay, part of the challenge is trying to actually identify who your true competitors are. That's a great point. And not just who we assume to be our competitors. How can SimilarWeb help us to identify true competitors? Okay.
So there are actually, I think, several ways to do that. First of all, we do that seamlessly when we're trying to compare ourselves or a specific website to another website. So we have an algorithm that finds them. We also have a section that is called competitive landscape, in which we present relevant websites from the competitive landscape. There are also ways to find competitors based on keywords. So anyone who is competing on the same keywords that you are could be relevant competitors. So this can be found in website analysis under search. And another good way to do that is in the industry analysis. If you know in which industry you are, or you can find, of course, because it will be written when you're analyzing your own website, then looking at the industry will help you find not only the competitors, but also the top performing in this industry. So, yeah. Many ways.
So many answers, many ways. We don't expect you to memorize everything Simon just said. So again, get in touch with us, get in touch with your account manager. We'll walk you through it. We are, of course, a competitive intelligence tool. So we've come up with all these different aspects of how to slice and dice identifying competitors. Another good question, would we be able to narrow down where a certain website is getting its traffic from, as in know the traffic origin in terms of country? We have actually a specific feature just for that called website geography, right? So exactly. Yes. A question for Jason. How has SimilarWeb affected your display strategy?
Yeah, so I answered that in text, but I can talk to it high level. I think the two big things that our display team would do, one is look for opportunities, right? So we look at our competitive set and see where they're spending and where they're getting good traffic from display, and that would be an opportunity for us to sort of target that publisher. And then the other really important way in which the team uses the tool is to make sure that our sort of share of voice from a given publisher is strong. And so if we notice that there's a shift in our share of voice, or if a competitor is getting more traffic from a given publisher on the display side, we might lean in or have a discussion there or something along those lines.
Cool. There's a question, how would I would like to know how I can use SimilarWeb for keyword and affiliate research. So I hope you show it to us. So we gave you a little taste of a couple features. I think Jason's presentation was helpful to understand that there is a huge breadth to the platform and a huge depth to the platform. So, really the best way. We also have a lot of videos, by the way, on our Knowledge Center, which you can check out, that give you a little bit also more description and visuals of how to use certain parts. But there's nothing quite like getting your hands on it, getting a demo, having an account manager walk you through it, right? So, or going and signing up for our free trial to get a bit of a taste yourself. So I hope you got a little bit of a sense of that today. Another question, which is great, there are so many features that we think we can use. how can SimilarWeb help us onboard and optimize the use of this platform? I think Jason also talked a bit to the pain points of that. We said we think that the new platform makes that a lot easier, but in general, what are the ways that we help you onboard and optimize? First of all, we put a lot of effort into the onboarding experience in the platform. So now when you first sign in, that there'll be kind of guides and tours that walk you through it. We have a complete knowledge center filled with articles and videos and training. And of course, an account manager is available to you to help you onboard and optimize the use of the platform. For some accounts, kind of more premium accounts, we also have implementation team and it's something that you can also request and talk to us about if it's needed. We have kind of product specialists that are professional at helping people onboard and set up the platform for their specific KPIs and roles. So many ways we try to do automated, scalable self-serve to make it easy. But then there's, of course, experts and specialists in our team, if you get in touch with us, that you can leverage. There's a question, where can I define brand competitor sets?
I'm not 100% sure what do we mean by that, but in general, we can use keyword analysis or the search interest analysis in the new structure when you can build a keyword list that represents either a market or a brand, and to analyze the traffic that it gets, the size, etc. So I hope this gives.
It might have been. I think I referenced that terminology when I was talking. So they might be. What I was referencing were custom industries. So where you can build an industry and put your defined competitors or your defined brand competitors in there. That also could be like what the question was asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's another way to define a group of or a market or a brand as the custom industry, and analyze and get all the information that you get on predefined industries.
Okay. I think we have time just for one or two more questions. I'm going to try to interpret what I think this question is asking, which is, I know we showed a couple views of dashboards in the presentation. And I think the question is, are the insights based on pre-configured like models, or can clients configure their own? And yeah, clients of course can configure their own. We do have templates that are there to, again, help from an onboarding and ease of use perspective. We'll make it faster and suggest to you what we think are the common kind of views that are the most valuable. But from our product principle of flexibility, we do want you to be able to customize that yourself. So you do have the ability to create your own dashboards. And maybe time for just one last question. One for Simon. There's a question about new versus returning visits. Will that be available in segment analysis at some point?
I believe it will be, because the same technology that will enable us to do that on a website level will enable us to do that on the segments. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So just because we only have 2 more minutes and the webinar will end, I just wanted to take a minute to wrap up. Thank you so much for all these amazing questions. There are more, and if you want to get in touch with us or your account managers, we'll be happy to kind of follow up on any burning questions you still have. I want to really thank all of our speakers today, Jason, Kyle, you guys are awesome. And we're so excited, as I hope you could tell, about the new platform. We want to share it with the world. We want to get your feedback. We hope it's going to make your lives better and more insightful. So thanks again for your time, and please be in touch with us to give us your feedback. And yeah, that's it. Enjoy.